welcome into Bengals Breakdown. Billy BB with you. When we did Mel Kiper's big board video, I don't know, a couple days ago, a week ago, you guys loved it. Showed a lot of attention to that video. So when Kiper put out his latest mock draft, we had to get it to you quickly. Of course, we'll focus on the Bengals. We also have some rumors to talk about pertaining to the Bengals, non-draft-wise, but it'll keep you up to date. Speaking of being up to date, everyone says they're a big Bengals fan. Answer back with, do you subscribe to Bengals Breakdown? Because I do. That's the best thing you can do to be a better Bengals fan right now. Hit that sub button. All right, right into it. Mel's mock draft, quotation marks, his first of 2026. Mendoza, yep, you were kind of hoping for that Arvell Reese possible drop back to Cincinnati. Feels unlikely, sees unlikely here in the Kiper mock draft. Other teams taking players that we figured. David Bailey was a name we listed a little bit for the Bengals. He's off the board in the top 5. Carnell Tate for Ohio State. A little bit of tackle help. We thought Rueben Bain Jr. would be there for the Bengals and beyond. Mel Kiper does not think that. He's got him going to Washington here. Jordyn Tyson, if you're a Cavs fan, that was the brother of Jalen Tyson. Little side note there. And then the Bengals. By the way, Jeremiyah Love, actually, I think would be super fun on the Chiefs. Those are the kind of picks where I just like watching the draft because you see something like that happen. But with the 10th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, Mel Kiper, in his latest mock draft, claims first to 2026, all over the place with it. Caleb Downs, we got him. He's got them taking Caleb Downs. He's got Caleb Downs there for them, so on and so forth. I know we've talked a lot about the possibility of Downs not being there, the Bengals maybe going elsewhere. Kiper says they're going with Downs. His exact wording on both the pick and Downs' fit. Jamal Adams is the most recent safety to get picked in the top 10. Again, that's one impressive thing in itself by Downs. But we could have another. Downs reads plays so well and has the speed and wrap-up technique to wrangle and take down ball carriers. And don't sleep on his ball skills. Downs had 2 interceptions in each of his last 3 college seasons. Again, they don't set him up to ball hawk. We'll talk about that more in a minute. He's exactly the type of player you want the Bengals and they need on the back end. Cincinnati allowed the NFL's most yards per play in 2 of the past 3 campaigns. We know, Mel. No need to explain to Bengals people. 6.2 yards per play, so you get Downs to counter that. Straight up, right now, comment section, hit it. Your thoughts, your one-word reaction to Mel Kiper having the Bengals drafting Caleb Downs. They got him, right? I know that I was excited about it. Chris Daughtry before me was excited about it. Bengals fans, come on. What's our one-word reaction to drafting Caleb Downs? Once again, I cannot hit on this enough for you guys. I will emphasize it over and over and over again. Stats are there. Stats are not what matters to Caleb Downs and his game, right? You're never going to understand Caleb Downs by reading the stats. You are going to understand Caleb Downs by word of mouth, right? The college football world knows how good Caleb Downs is. Top 10 finalists in the Heisman voting. Yes, Heisman voting at the safety position. Jim Thorpe Award winner for the nation's best defensive back. You would think it'd just be a guy with a bunch of interceptions, right? No, it is a quarterback on defense for the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Ronnie Lott Award winner for excellence and leadership. Come on, you're getting a quarterback for your defense. Your very bad defense, your inconsistent defense is now going to get a quarterback for it. You can go into everything Mel Kiper said. You can go into some next level analytics. Don't stick on those stats. I think they're good, not great. I think who Caleb Downs truly is and what he truly does is known by both football fans, football coaches, and of course, top 10 pick. It's going to be known by the NFL soon enough. Did want to know, Mel had some other names on the board at that point. Maybe you prefer it a different way. Again, I'm still surprised Mel has Bain off. I thought he might make it to the Bengals, and beyond, actually. I thought he could make it all the way up to 15. Edge rusher, Keldric Faulk getting on that outside. They want to go tackle. You got options there. Mansour Delane appears to be now moving up as the top corner. We'll see how that all shakes out. But some options if you want to go a different way. I know there's some of you that aren't quite sold on Caleb Downs. More options there on the board at that point in time. More to talk about here on Bengals Breakdown. We are giving you an update on Bengals offensive coordinator Dan Pitcher, where he stands with the Bengals and the rest of the NFL. So make sure you guys can actually head to the comment section right now, answer the questions we've asked while I tell you guys about Prize Picks. Yeah, Prize Picks. Big to know that the big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it's always feeling good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. I know it's crazy to think football season itself is ending. So close the season outright with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. New feature alert right now, early payouts. So if your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Good example, 4-pick power play. We've shown you that throughout the week. You can see went more on Drake May, less on Jared Stidham, passing yards for both those guys, and then same with the other two guys, more for Stafford, more for Darnold on the passing yards. Let's say May and Stidham, they get going early in that early slate game. You like what you got there? Prize Picks will offer you the option to cash in right before that other game's even played in your 4-pick power play. How you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose Flex Play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the Power Play. No matter how you play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, the update on Dan Pitcher, the Bengals offensive coordinator. A little bit of interest in Pitcher. Doesn't currently call plays for the Bengals, so any sort of move to play calling OC is an option. And the Cleveland Browns, we're looking at him for their head coaching option. He's gotten the interest. It appears unlikely that this is happening. Doesn't look good for him leaving Cincinnati. I think that is good for the Bengals, but doesn't look good for him. The two teams interested in Pitcher so far seem to have, number one, moved on, and number two, found better options or really moved ahead with different options outside of Pitcher. Looking at that, the Buccaneers, they have hired offensive coordinator Zach Robinson, who was with the Falcons, now is going to be with the Buccaneers in that offense. Now, for the Browns, Pitcher, it was a very big deal. Again, doesn't even call plays for the Bengals. Next thing you know, he has an interview with the Cleveland Browns for their head coaching job. They complete that interview. Not saying he still couldn't be their play caller next year. Who knows how that works out for Cleveland? A very unserious coaching search over there. The second interview process, no invite for him. They have done multiple second interviews with multiple candidates, and even odds are higher for guys who haven't interviewed yet, like Sean McDermott. So doesn't look good for Pitcher leaving to those two teams that were interested in him. Tampa has their OC, and Cleveland is way into more candidates than they are for Pitcher. I think for the Bengals, it's a good thing, so we want to celebrate here. If you wanted Dan Pitcher to stay, come back, however you want to put it, the thumbs up button if you're happy to have the coordinator back in the fold for the Bengals. Now, all this and everything that's kind of happened has brought a light debate, if you want to call it a social media debate or just a debate in general. Should Pitcher or Taylor call plays for the Bengals going into next season? It's a way to keep Pitcher. It's a way to keep him happy. It's a way to see what he's got for the future. It's not unheard of in the NFL for the owners to force coaches to bring in a play caller. We've seen it in Cleveland, a couple other places. James Rapine, one of the beat reporters for the Bengals, kind of breaking down this debate just a little bit as far as could Taylor give up play calling opportunities? Why would he do that? If Dan Pitcher gets an offer to be an offensive coordinator, it's an offensive play caller. As an offensive play caller, are you willing to remove Zach's play calling duties to keep Dan? There's a ripple effect, and it could all potentially be cured if you give Dan Pitcher play calling duties. I will note, I'm a huge believer. A coach that calls plays and is known for calling plays, giving up play calling is a desperate move and is usually a sign they are losing their job. Number one, Kevin Stefanski, this past season, gave it up to Tommy Reese midway through the year. It's a last-ditch effort to, A, mix up the offense, and B, try to shift blame. Just saying. Bill O'Brien's one of the most famous ones, right? Bill O'Brien calls plays for the Houston Texans. Midway through that final season, should I note, for Bill O'Brien, he gives up play calling duties. Next thing you know, he is fired. If you see Zach Taylor give up play calling to Dan Pitcher, he's getting fired. But if you had a choice going into it right now, do you want to see a mix-up in the offense? Who should call plays for the Bengals? Cincinnati in 2026. Should it be Zach Taylor once again, what he's known for, what he's done for the Bengals for years? Or is it time for a change? Go with Dan Pitcher for Taylor type T for Pitcher type P.